So we are at 8:32, and let's go ahead and get started. For anybody that's joining for the first time, a very warm welcome. I am glad that you're here. My name is Tara Healey, and I am the founder and director of Point 32, which is Harvard Pilgrim and Tufts Health Plan mindfulness program. And this is our Thursday morning gathering. And I am really delighted to have the opportunity to continue to just, be with this community every Wednesday morning and every Thursday morning and every Tuesday afternoon. So let's go ahead and move right into practice. And the practices are 12 to 14 minutes in length and fully guided with periods of silence. I would just say that the very common misconceptions are that we are supposed to create a special state of relaxation or ease, when the reality is we are really learning to be with whatever state has arisen in us. And it's with the difficult states, it's more challenging to be with. But just by shining the light of awareness, especially if you're in something difficult is going on and there's physical contraction, just bringing that awareness. For anybody that was on yesterday, Abe Dejanay, one of our wonderful instructors, talked about that. It's just bringing awareness to what's happening. So feeling the physical expression in your body, like what's the raw data, as if you're a scientist and also the subject. And so we're also not trying to stop thought. That's, again, part of what makes this practice challenging is that the mind is busy. And often it's just uncomfortable to be with that busyness. And so in a way, we're just learning to also allow for that. So allow is a word that I use a lot, especially when things are challenging. It's much easier if there is... if the experience we're having is a pleasant experience. The thing to watch for that is the grasping, the not wanting it to be different or to change. But with both pleasant and unpleasant, the truth of impermanence is always at play. So let's go ahead and move into practice. And you can do this seated or standing. You could also do it lying down, but if you're tired, I would say lying down is probably not the best idea. But otherwise, eyes gaze down or closed, so it's fine to keep them open. But if you do choose that, to keep the eyes gaze downward a bit. And let's begin by just letting go of everything that has already happened and releasing anticipation of what might be next, and allowing yourself to fully arrive here in this moment, mind and body together. The mind is a wonderful time traveler. And so when we practice, we're really asking the body and the mind to join, to be in one place and establishing a posture that feels upright and engaged, kind of not too tight and not too loose. And allowing yourself to feel the support of the ground below, that you can actually go ahead and surrender your weight into the support of the surface and into the support of the ground, and noticing the points of contact, what that actually feels like. And continuing with whole body awareness, thinking about your activity this morning, and then now bringing awareness to receiving the physical expression in the body from your activity. So in addition to points of contact, just simply being aware of pulsing, vibration, tingling, temperature, contraction, whatever might be going on, bringing the lens of receptivity and curiosity to the physical expression in your body. So we don't have to try to make anything different or better. Um, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, it's all here and the receiving of it. And so moving from whole body awareness to include sound that may be in the room or outside of the room, making a soft mental note, hearing, not even labeling what's making the sound, but engaging the sense of hearing. It's also helpful to take a couple deep breaths at any point. Usually I start my own practice with that. I didn't this morning, but feel free to like deep inhalation through the nose, longer exhalation through the mouth, if that would feel good as we begin our practice. So continuing to just take in sound, sound in the room or outside of the room. It may be pleasant, it may be unpleasant, it might be just neutral. And let's allow sound to do its thing, the arising and passing in the room or outside of the room. And let's begin to look for an anchor for the wandering mind. So, as you breathe in and breathe out, is there a place in the body that it's easiest for you to track those sensations? So, really just kind of land your attention on the feeling within the body anywhere, abdomen, chest, belly, whole carriage, the feeling of that rather than the thinking about breathing, but actually tapping into the physical sensations. So, and if breath is difficult, you can take the palms of your hands, you can put them together, you can rest them on the top of your thighs, or you could take another point of contact and use that as the anchor that you return to. So, seeing what anchor might work best for you this morning. It's also fine to use sound. So if there's a sound in your background that would feel helpful. Noticing where your mind is. And just simply releasing the memory or the planning, whatever narrative has slipped in unnoticed. Just letting that go. Allow the body to soften. There's almost always a subtle contraction when a thought slips in. So soften the body, yet maintain the upright, engaged posture and then just simply return to whatever anchor you're using. Again, noticing where the mind is and just gently releasing the memory or the planning, whatever has slipped in unnoticed and is now noticed. Releasing, holding in the body, yet maintain an engaged posture and return. And as we bring this meditation to a close, what I'd like to do is read a piece that Mary Oliver wrote about summer. And so, what I would ask is that you move from whatever object you're using to just tracking the words, and again, watching what the mind wants to do, but tracking the words. So it's called Wind. I am tired of explanations, unless they are spoken by the best mouths. Black bear coming up from sleep, growling her happiness. Nighthawks snapping their way through the dusk. Or the voice of the wind itself, a flailing out of any and every quarter of the sky, especially in summer, especially in the fields close to the ground. Listen! Exclamation point. Let the high branches go on with their opera. It's the song of the fields I wait for when the sky turns orange and the wind arrives, waving his thousand arms. Or autumn. I hurry out to the middle of the field and stand where the tough goldenrod, seated and tasseled, is vigorously tossing until something thankful rises and still something thankful rises from my own body. The goldenrod lashes back and forth, each stem on its knuckled foot. Yes, yes, yes. And then the dry earth begins to anticipate, and then I fall to my knees, and then the flowers cry out, and then the wind breaks open its silver countries of rain. So kind of touching on a few seasons there, but just her language around seasons and the entering of seasons. And I've been thinking a lot about the transitions from one season into the next. And we are really in that period of transition now. And yeah, I just think it's been, aside from the pollen, it's been delightful to see how lush and green everything is, and to see the hummingbirds in the feeder, and to hear the arrival of birds, many, many different kinds of birds. And it's a great practice, which is why for anybody that joined late, the practices on Tuesdays with Colleen Kamenish are about connecting in with nature. And it's just like perfect time. Um, and she's really talking about how we are not separate from nature, that what happens within us and changes within our own body we are of the same nature um, as everything that's happening around us. So, and then the last Tuesday of the month, as a reminder, and the link is right here, the last Tuesday of the month, um, is going to be with Dr. Judson Brewer. He's the researcher, he's in the research arm of Brown University's mindfulness work. Great poem, thanks for sharing. Yeah, Teresa, it is, I love that. I've read so many of these over and over that sometimes I'm like, oh, I hope I haven't read this one too much, but there is just, given what the theme is for this month, and how she is able to kind of capture what's going on. I really, really love that. So I just want to open it up. So please feel free to share a resource that you've come across. So it could be, a book, an app, a poem, a website, a podcast. And, there's just an opportunity as we pull together as a community just to share, but also any questions that have arisen about practice, about common misconceptions related to practice. So anything at all. Okay. Yeah. So I find it harder to remember to return to my anchor when I'm meditating alone. Any suggestions? Yeah. I mean, I think, what I would say, first of all, Bina, is that like that is super common. I think, it's just amazing how active our minds are. And Um, I think you could try a few different things. It just depends on what you use for an anchor, but you can also open to sound with the kind of sounds that are happening now around us outside. You could open up to sound, and that might be useful. But every time you see that you've lost track of your anchor, whatever that might be, it's actually just the noticing itself is so good. So you just notice and return, even if you have to do it a lot. But you could also, it sounds like more when you're alone and it's easier when you're with a group. So, like the Insight Timer app, there are people all over the world meditating at the same time and you can actually see it. So sometimes that can be helpful. Um, so Lynn says Dan Harris oh, Carla, yes, she's great. Carl, I haven't listened to that one, but I really, really like her. And she was on our Tuesday session last month. Carly is fabulous, wise teacher. Dan is a huge fan of hers, and we were really happy to have her be our guest last month. So Heather, yesterday Abe posed the question, what would it feel like to put something down? Mel Robbins' book, Let Them Theory, echoes, yes, yes, yeah. I absolutely agree. Yes, yeah, there's something so comforting when you really realize that you can release something. Um, and Teresa Oren has a wise speech course called, yeah, yeah, thank you, till June 10th. So we are also big fans of Oren. And um, yeah, within that, I'm wondering also, he's done a lot with listening and what it really means to listen to another person. Um, and, it's this practice is so, so supportive of improving our capacity to listen to another person, especially if there's disagreement. And in this polarizing world, this is a skill that is really, really valuable. Um, and to notice the difference between listening and not listening, whenever we offer somebody advice, whenever we reassure anybody, whenever we ask questions, none of those are actually listening. Those are all from our frame of reference. It's what we think they might need in terms of advice or reassurance. And it's a question that we have. And so listening is an incredibly challenging skill, but it is really the capacity to use mindful awareness when somebody is speaking to you to ask yourself, what is it that they are trying to tell me? So anyway, there's a lot on that, but I think sometimes it's helpful to know that listening well comes down to frame of reference. Yeah, so whenever we offer somebody our opinions that are unsolicited, uh, we have to see, is this coming from my frame of reference? What I think they might need, what curiosity I have about their situation, ultimately to help them, but still it's in your frame of reference. But what is going on for this person is the question, and the mindful awareness helps you see those other habits. And then those other things can be used, within the dance of conversation, but usually they're done too soon and too often. So any courses by Oren, usually he's done a lot with communication skills, but really addresses that well. So we're at 8:59. Anything else? Thank you, Susan. So I think we're gonna have a pretty warm day today. So I hope that all of you get out and enjoy and really take in this day and remember to connect in with nature. So healing and just bringing full awareness to what's around you. So thanks everybody, and go ahead and sign up for the sessions on Tuesday. And I think that's it. I think we can call it. All right. Bye, everybody.